Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? This is Connell Work.
Nine ring rule, hello, hello, hello.
And folks, we're giving you some more Red Storm 44. Today, actually from was it the Dive-In tournament? Is that right there, Ryan?
Yep.
At the Over on Sluts East? Okay, so good. So tell us about the players and what are they bringing to the fray?
On the left hand side in blue, we have ourselves the Graham Slam, playing 78 Sturm with a Vanguard income. On the right hand side in red, we have her Robert playing Third Guard Mechanized, also with a Vanguard income.
So, the folks, first of all, from here in the States, here in North America, really overall, Happy New Year to you guys. Actually, the first cast is with 2021, so hopefully things gonna go great here. But 78th, third, lots of MCHs on one side, lots of Stugs on the other, and we actually have a nice sprinkling of tanks over here as well. Of Tigers as well over here from the 78th Sturm. How's this gonna match out?
78 definitely has the longer range advantage, as they have the Tigers and the Stags and the Pack 43s and the Nashorns. They got some pretty good firepower at long range. As you got to realise, those MCHs and Shermans, well, MCHs and Shermans are the same, and T-34s have limited range compared to the heavier gun counterparts. So I think Robert's going to have to rely on those SU-85s, especially on the southern end of the map. But looking up north, he's got a bunch of BA-64s leading the charge with some reconnaissance and quite a lot of medium tanks. And inside the town and, the hill area in the center, these T-34s and MCHs should come in pretty handy.
So guys, you actually have to excuse Rang. He had a near-death experience just before he started casting. That was damn, dude. That was a rather wicked bottle of water that almost killed you there. We almost lost him for a second, but we brought him back with thoughts of replays for you guys this week. So
yeah, we did a 3, 2, 1 countdown. I took a sip of water and literally almost died. So good thing I figured out how to drink quickly after that.
I was gonna say, thank God I didn't have to do mouth to mouth. I mean, the travel time alone would have been deadly. Early IL-2 though, going after that Tiger. This is actually a really great call because 70th Sturm only gets one of those, but a quick Metro Spit coming in the other direction here.
Be enough.
Worst was the worst. Deflection shot? Yes, wow.
Whoa! IL-2's not meant to die that fast. They're meant to take at least 20mm shots.
Oh yeah, by the way, while we're thinking about it, and as the BF-109 just kind of scampers back to his own airfield here, the Spark Critical that we've always remarked upon so often, that's kind of like bouncing over here on an armored vehicle, an AFV on the ground. So, for flavor, ain't saying that it's not worth it, but for the most part, it's just kind of there for a little bit of extra oomph.
Yeah, kind of like the bounce modification on, tank paddles. And it's going pretty good here for her, Robert. He's just storming over the hill and far away of his medium tank push.
That is true, but that Pack 48 over here, that's going to slow things up pretty darn quickly. You know what? I wasn't even paying attention to the National One back there, but yeah, this, the National One doesn't get anywhere near enough love, but this is how you use a National One.
Yeah, National One's really good in this mod. Because those T-34s have the shorter range, you can actually outrange them, which is nice.
Oh yeah, I probably should show it off to the people here. 1,600 meters of range as opposed to 2K. So that 88 is just absolutely devastating. You try going and making a sustained gun rush over an open territory at an 88.
Yeah. It definitely makes doing these medium tank pushes in open fields a little bit harder now, because you do need some heavier AT to help out. Such as an SU-85, which is what Robert is bringing up.
Worth mentioning to the north, there was a T-34 Razvedka kind of running point. There's still an MCHA over here in the area, but now that there's Stug, who's quite frisky, I imagine he's going to say hello pretty quickly to that guy. Oh, nope, never mind. He thinks better of it, backs off.
I think the Recon Panzer Grenadiers or Grenadier Squadrons and they get a Faust shot off. They do have a Faust left over.
The funny thing about this is that you don't ever actually see the anti-tank thing on these Grenadiers, which is kind of interesting. With it, they completely whiffed.
Wow, you had one shot, literally one shot, and you bugged it up. But it's gonna give the Stug time to come on in and hit.
Badly damage the optics. Oh my gosh, dude! Don't break the nerd's glasses. Break the nerd.
Yeah. At least ask the nerd to take the glasses off first before you fight him.
Yeah, one expensive. Or the other, man. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, worth mentioning, yes, oh wow. Okay, so wait a second. Did the National go down? Did I miss something?
Uh,
National went down. Yeah, he's a smoldering
oh yeah.
wreck here. I think that was a courtesy of maybe the Su-85.
Probably, that thing does have the range to shoot at 2 kilometers. So, oh yeah, Su-85 does go down to a sneaky tiger in the ridge.
And here's another thing that's kind of interesting as well, is the Zis-3 actually takes a bit of a hit in terms of its overall penetration.
Yeah, it's end range. It only has 1.6.
Not for nothing, but I kind of actually like that.
Yeah. You get that.
I feel like the Zises are too powerful somewhat.
It's really interesting how I find the like Soviet versus German fights, especially with like Third Guard mechanized and the less heavily armed, tank division Soviets like TF-45s and IS-2s, because you do not have the range advantage. It can be a huge pain in the ass in certain fights, but you do have a lot of numbers still, and you also have a lot of very good auxiliary tools such as smoke artillery, regular artillery, because even heavy tanks can go down to like just enough artillery fire. Airplanes such as IL-2 clusters. You have to think outside the box when playing certain Soviet divisions, especially on a map like this, when your opponent is bringing in Stugs and Tigers galore.
Well, and that's the thing though too, is that this I feel like this mod really does decently mirror the tactics that were necessary for both sides.
Yeah.
Germans had to have these lone bulwarks of just like heavily armed tanks like that Tiger right here. And not for nothing, while the Soviets had stuff to penetrate, they usually had to resort to these kind of short rushes to kind of overwhelm.
Yeah, or try to get the enemy into a good ambush position, such as,
Exactly.
trying to stay in a forest where you can only shoot out at 1.6 kilometers and bait the enemy towards you, because that can work really well. I'm thinking what Robert's doing right now is that he's reinforcing the hill position with some more S-35s, and he's going to be fighting it toe-to-toe with Graham. And I don't think it's really going to work. Graham can really outnumber him in terms of long-range anti-tank firepower. I think Robert's best bet is to really play more heavily in the town, because those Shermans in town fights, because the 50 cal machine guns in general are just much more powerful now. You can do quite a bit of damage and you mitigate that range disadvantage that you have.
You do mitigate the range disadvantage, and I agree with you in many different ways with what you just said. But let's also be fair here, too. The 70th Sturm doesn't have the same plethora of armored vehicles that you might expect to see otherwise. We've already seen the Tiger go down.
Mm-hmm.
The Nashorn is dead.
Yeah,
you
you're
bring
right.
another one in.
Yeah, you're right.
Actually, sorry, he's got 3 more actually worked in. If you look at the northern town for a second, this is where the actual play can come through. The Graham Slam, which, by the way, again, I absolutely love this name. But the Graham Slam, northern town, this really should be his without any kind of real sustained issues. Yes, superiors are here, but they only have most of the guns and the explosives. Other than that, they don't really have any true firepower.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot. 78th Sturm is really good at Sturming.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got like literally a lot of firepower in their squads. And the slugs do prove pretty well range.
The Begleit Zug, actually I haven't even looked at the thing for this, so this is another... Ah, okay, so this is the whole...
Yeah, like...
That is a really, really cool thing right there. Alright, so guys, we mentioned the whole idea that the interplay between Tanko-Desantniki and tanks in the same area. It looks like the Begleit Shotzin also function Schutz guns over here as well. So yeah, that's really, really cool. I didn't even notice that until just now.
Yeah, I really do love the flavor that this mod does add. That's like a pretty big bonus if you can get them working together. And in town fights like this, it works very well.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on. 40 stress resilience for both the infantry and the Strokes.
Just for being nearby, you don't even need a commando or leader.
Now, the one thing that I found kind of interesting is that it looked like Herr Robert was looking to blow out the southern side of this play here. I mean, he's got a superior T-34 a Zis gun over here. You notice there's an awful lot of smoking shells, though, too. And these guys, while it is still 1410, made the mistake of running through an open territory when there's still martyrs all over the place. And those guys are ready to die for the cause, but they are definitely getting a heavy toll in the meantime.
Yep. And he doesn't even have any recon support in his T-34, so that should not go too well for him. Nashorn being brought up will definitely finish up the job. That Marder having the gun jammed is not ideal either.
No, it certainly is not. Now, one thing I always want to check here. Yeah, their optics are very good. His optics are very good. Interestingly enough, the Nashorn only has a 60% accuracy. That's really kind of bizarre, but yeah, never
Still pretty
mind.
good.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I'm at this point I'm spoiled whenever I look at a uh, a martyr with 79% accuracy. It's almost
Oh, that's
absurd.
with APCR shells. You gotta remember.
Yeah, I know we've
Yeah.
talked about that, but still.
The regular accuracy is only like 44 in the Pack 40 guns.
Yeah. To the north in the meantime, a 105 is going to be firing over here on the Russian positions, but a 76 mil F-22, we can only assume it's not a Raptor of some kind. It's going to start to shell all of these Shotzin. And this is, it looks like he was listening to you. He heard your comments about those Shermans. He's bringing in 2 more here. I'm guessing this is his attempt to kind of stem this breakout. Because if this breaks out, he loses 2 flags, and good luck getting back on that island.
Yeah, and looking back at Robert's deck, he does not have really a lot of infantry overall, especially in A phase, so he might be running low right now, or he should be exiting A phase in just a few minutes now, so he should have some reinforcements. Also goes for the Grand Slam. He also has a lot of infantry in B phase, and a lot of very good CQC fighters with those Pioneers and Flamethrower troops.
Yes, and it's also worth mentioning that it's not just Pioneers, but it's also Flam Pioneers with explosives. So, and actually, kind of amusing to me that's Flam Pioneer explosives, but they don't technically have explosives. Yes, they have a flamethrower. And, oh, did we just see a Sherman go down courtesy of that artillery?
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. Artillery is pretty...
In the meantime, an IL-2 down to the south. There's also a marauding BF-109 just keeping them at arm's length. And it looks like they're perhaps prepping for a second attempted break. Who is going to try to find the MU-109? But there's also the 88 right there. So, no, that's not going to happen. The 88's going to just absolutely blow to pieces anything comes after these guys.
Yeah, it's getting good hits on the
Except
slow
the head-to-head. I don't know why you'd have a head-to-head on anybody. And the MU-109 wisely backs away. But wow, it's so weird to actually watch armored vehicles and setup teams containing and really holding this entire central part of this line. I mean, that's what, about a kilometer in either direction? It's a dominant position.
Yeah, just that natural one in that position is really enough to outrange anything. And yeah, Robert is going to be bringing up some SU-85s, which he's really going to need if he wants to push this southern side. Thankfully, B-Face, he does have 8 of them with 2-star veterancy, so those can be pretty, I mean, they're pretty good. They can outgun the National one. Well, not outgun, but, you know, National one has less armor. It's a pretty even fight. And they can also blow up Tigers at Rel, so, you know, it's just going to be, I think it's going to be, for Robert, especially in his southern side, a real good use of those SU-85s.
You know, I have to agree with you, but I think we're going to see a bit of a resurgent push. Here's the interesting part. If this artillery strike to the north pins down this infantry coming in, or even takes out one of them, that might be enough. Well, we got 1 pin. The other MTRA is, yeah, and actually, I think the 76 mil has already used all of its artillery strike.
Yeah, you only get usually 2 artillery strikes with like a medium howitzer. In like more heavier guns, you usually only get like 1 artillery off map.
Justifiably so. And is the 105s across the map here? Yeah, I think the German. No. 78 Sturm has a heavier gun, but I can't make it out here. Oh, geez, I'm just dead. Yeah. This northern flank is completely folded. You're not getting anything out of here. Komarowski's going to be staggering on in, maybe. And my view decided to just freak out and go the other direction. But, yeah, with that in mind, all these guys are going to go down.
Yeah.
Stroke, he's down, and it's so weird. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and yeah, usually once we see like his northern side collapse, we never usually see it uncollapse because it's an uphill battle and that's not usually fun. You know, Robert is going to be bringing up some 122 mil off map, which, yeah, he's really going to need a lot of high explosives if he wants to take back at hill. There's 3 Stugs on there right now, a bunch of very scary German infantry squads. Yeah, it's not looking good for Robert up north at all. Yo, he's currently winning it. Probably once that other flag folds up north, it'd be back to a trove. But he's doing decent down south, to be fair. He's making it onto the central hill position from that southern flank, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, he's got this weird kind of moseying
Yeah.
BA-10s going on, the Great White Fleet kind of thing going on.
I think I did a
But this
drive-by
is,
on a Nash one.
I think you're absolutely right here, but I think this is gonna get shut down now. We have a Nibelwerfer aligning, gonna be hitting that central
Yeah.
position there, and even a single blow would be more than enough.
Yeah. T-34 gonna crest over the ridge at close range. A surprise attack should be enough to blow up out Stuke.
Now
Crew
we have
killed.
two things that are just crew killed.
Here comes the Tiger to try and stem this bleed. It's really gonna come down to him to try and hold his thing for now. We do have a Stug being brought in to try and get some flanking shots, which should definitely help out. But yeah, here comes the Nabel.
And regrettably, he is too far away, and his barrage drops about 10 seconds too late.
Yeah. EA-10's at close range now. I wonder if he's just gonna rush the Tiger with that.
That would be an absolutely stupid idea. Yeah, and this is why. Stuck into the northern part of that intersection as well. And all three of these guys are dead in the next 2 minutes. I mean, in real life, these guys are dead in 5, but yeah, like these guys are all dead here.
Yeah, the Tiger and the Stug guys, it's enough to hold you up for the time being. And does he have... Oh, he only has a single cluster bomber in A phase, so...
Or
yeah,
he's got a single
really
cluster bomber in A phase, and that's dead.
Yeah, and it's gone. He has, like, the 2 other IL-2s, just rocket runs, but... Yeah. Yeah, because I find cluster bombers be very useful for the Soviet divisions, because those German tanks, such as Tigers, can be a real pain in the ass to fight when you don't have long-range guns for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of like ice skating uphill, isn't it?
Yeah. And then Northern Hill is just looking very good for Graham. He's holding on to it with the Stugs. He's eventually going to get that far northern flag, which Her Robert is holding with a single Motor Strictly guard squad. But here comes an IL-2. Will it do something? Oh, it's a bomber plane, not a rocket run.
Yeah, it'll still take out one of these, Gs. The Gs is going to go out. My gosh. But he's going to pay for his temerity pretty quickly. Well, there's a spark right there, and isn't there an 88 still in the area? Yeah, there's still an 88 in the area. So, I mean, one of mine's going to come in for one more deflection shot, and that'll be pretty much all she wrote, I imagine. Oh,
maybe
yeah?
the axe.
Oh.
All going in, and there we go. Good save here from the axe. Yeah, Roberts, I mean, even though he's completely lost his northern side, which is a pretty important position on the map to hold on to, he's doing pretty decent elsewhere in the central parts of the map. I feel like his position here is pretty tenuous, as Graham is building up a pretty hefty force of those Tiger tanks, of course, but he only has... I think he's used up all his Tiger tanks now. Or if they go down, that's it.
One's dead. That's the one from A was dead. He died on the northern hillside.
Yeah, and we got 2 in the center, and center south. There should be one more maybe coming in. Keep count of the Tigers in the area. He still has Nationals and of course Pack 43s, but yeah.
But there's also Su-85s coming the other direction too. So
yeah,
whose anti-tank guns can be more viable, more worthwhile, for lack of a better word. And so far, that 88 is just devastating as well. I mean, that guy and that Pack 40. I mean, jeez.
I find in this mod it's actually not a completely stupid idea to put anti-tank guns and anti-aircraft guns like that out in the open. It can actually work. Like, they still die, of course, if they get hit by artillery, but you can usually get a good kill or two, and you just how reconnaissance work and concealment, they're not completely exposed being slap bang in the middle of the open. Still not ideal, but you can get away with it.
A lot of the Su-85s being brought on in are going down awfully quickly.
They are, and that's not good for Robert at all, because it's really his safest way of dealing with those Tiger tanks and yeah, really Tiger tanks and Stugs. Apart from that, he's gonna have to try and get a bit sneaky with some ambushes here, but it's not really working as Graham is pushing rather well in the central position here, killing those T-34s, and now it's all just downhill.
So I was watching the IL-2
Oh,
whiff on hitting a broken down Tiger here, but yeah, SU-85s one by one they're getting killed here, getting picked off, crews killed, everything like that. I think these other two coming into the southeast, if they're not the last, they're pretty darn close.
Yeah, I mean, he only has 8 in B phase, and he's definitely been losing them quite a bit, so he's gonna have to try and make his count and really focus fire on that. I mean, kill the Stugs, of course, but you know, if the Tiger goes kaboom, that'll probably be pretty beneficial for him. At least the Tiger down south, his track's broken, so that's gonna require a munitions truck to make that better.
Yeah, and there's a 45 mil watching him, so it's not going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, right now we're seeing basically all you need to do at this point for Graham is isolate some of these little Russian outposts and take them out. Pioneer aggressing in to kind of pinch off this bubble. Even against a Strokey, which normally would just absolutely cut through them like butter, Pioneer's got a chance in this one. I hope we just kind of see this little tiny bit of drama play out here.
Zooming in. The sap area, I'm waiting for him to throw his satchel charge, but there we go.
Wow, dude, that guy's got an arm too.
Oh.
No, that you were the chosen one. Quick surrender there. So maybe another Pioneer squad being diverted down to take him out. In the meantime, though, this housing complex is getting reduced. So now it's 15-9. Wait, I look away for 1 second. I watch one doomed attack, and it's 15-9.
Yep.
Yeesh.
Yep, his whole northern flank is really starting to evaporate for Robert here. I mean, we've got some pretty heavy off-map artillery being brought in, some 21 centimeters, but of course we know there's nothing there, but I think Graham just really wants to make sure there's definitely going to be nothing there.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like it might be something happening to his troops, though, too. There is still quite a bit of scatter you need to watch out for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking up another one of these things. I'm like, geez, the Hero Kriegs veteran. 12% accuracy, 20% rate of fire, 30% resilience. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like veteran troop bonuses do not mess about. Even just like the regular guards have a pretty decent bonus. Oh, yeah. And once again, it adds so much flavor. I love it.
Well, it allows you to go and make some truly different decisions. You're not just locked into the same stinking, like, we're just going to Sherman spam. We're just going to go and spam this. Oh. It makes you actually feel like it matters to have actual veterancy, to have actual investment into your armies.
Yeah, and they do a very good job in this mod in actually making the veterancy curves actually reasonable. You're not losing half of your unit count by going to 2-star veterancy. You just usually lose like 1/3 of your possible availability, so it's actually worthwhile. And there's no longer, you know, bumping up a 0-star unit to 2-star of commanders. You can only ever bump them up to 1-star with some extra passive bonuses. So, yeah.
17-7 in the meantime. The naval buffer unleashes its barrage upon some random empty patch of real estate as a show of force of what will happen if they don't vacate soon enough, I imagine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, now while the property value still has value.
Don't worry, they won't last for long. Kind of funny as well, there's a Stug that's just engaging this oncoming Emcha. And you know, the FR umlaut U with the H. Frua, I guess the early model as opposed to the later model, which is a lovely little touch as well.
Mm-hmm.
The transmission destroyed the other direction. So, despite the fact though that the Sherman is so robust, he's also still quite tanky, no pun intended, and takes out his attacker without nearly any fight.
Yeah.
Dude, that freaking Strokey squad is still standing like a boss. he may be Owen Wilson, but yeah, he certainly is living it up behind enemy lines.
Mm-hmm. He's got the whole place to himself.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I think I said this to you a few casts ago. We were talking about one of the Finnish divisions during the first war against the Soviets. Guys who got kind of encircled were like, okay, screw it, and just kind of faded into the forest and lived out there till the end of the war and the continuation war. So like, I'm looking at that, I'm like, this is definitely that squad.
Mm-hmm. It was like that one Japanese bloke who didn't surrender till the 70s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Robert's trying to make something happen in the center of what he has left. He's trying to get some off-map onto that Tiger, I believe. Yeah, it's 122 mil, so once again, even though it's a Tiger tank, artillery will blow it up. I've had it happen. It's not fun when it happens to you, but I mean, I'm not saying I'm not complaining that it's imbalanced. What I'm trying to say is that Tiger might go kaboom, but especially that building complex will go kaboom.
Honestly, it is devastatingly accurate that something like that would go kaboom. I mean, come on, it's a 105mm shell
22.
coming down on top of a tank. So, I'm sorry, I was thinking of the German one for a second.
Oh,
Yeah,
no
you're right,
problem.
122.
I really do like that with this mod, especially with like playing those Soviet divisions. That you have to like resort to off-map artillery and high explosives and bombing runs and ambush tactics to knock out the nasty Tiger tanks.
Well, somehow bonsai charges really weren't really in vogue still on the Soviet side of things, so...
Yeah, just not just charging, 20 T-34s on open field and just getting a bunch of critical hits at 2 kilometers.
Yeah, well, that's the thing,
Yeah.
too. I mean, just the accuracy. If I lob enough shells at you, eventually something's going to hit.
Yeah. The Tiger's gonna vacate the premises, which is probably the smart move.
Yeah, and I think right down here to the south, the last major cluster of Soviet forces, I think this is the major stone that Herr Robert has yet to throw. Other than that, I don't know what he can do.
Yeah.
We're definitely in C phase.
Oh, no, not yet.
Oh, no, you're right.
It's
I'm
30
still, oh my
minutes.
gosh.
I know, it's mod completely throws everything off balance in terms of the phases. Because it's like B phase is 17 minutes long on average, which is very long. So if you do play this mod, you're gonna need a beefy B phase.
And you mean by that as income, I imagine, yes?
Availability.
That too, but I think I was looking at that from income perspective.
Oh, income
because...
too is pretty good, yeah. Like, Maverick and Vanguard are pretty good because of that, because you're not gonna get to a C phase until 30 minutes in, which is... If you are playing like a Juggernaut style income, you're gonna have to hold quite a long time till you get relieved. Oh boy, do you get relieved.
Interesting. Superiors shifting up and around. I'm surprised that these MG Komrotis. Do I hear the Katyusha? I
Yep,
hear little Katya.
there's
She's gonna slam the south here.
Trying to get in that Tiger tank. And it's a shame that he didn't fire, maybe a little bit later when the stugs were coming, and of course that probably could have got some good suppressing hits, yeah, but just really freaking out the two tanks, or, well, tank and tank destroyer.
Well, forgive me, I'm watching the Tiger with a transmission destroyed fighting two T-34s, with one with a transmission destroyed. Over here in the center,
Yep.
And I mean, like you said, we're getting closer and closer here towards C phase. I still don't know that Herr Robert really has anything left to throw, though.
Yeah, he's starting to look a little bit skinned all in all. I mean, that sure rocket run didn't really do all that much. He still has Shermans, of course, because third guard mechanized. I don't think they're really going to save him at this point. The whole northern side is completely collapsed, and that is mainly an infantry fight, and he doesn't.
Then the
really
Katyusha
have
gets
much
taken out as well.
Oh,
I'm sorry to talk over
no,
you there
that's
for a second,
fine.
but
I
the
do it all the
Tiger.
time to you.
What's a few over talking here between casters? But Katyusha gets taken out from a hefty distance away, and you're right. It would have been absolutely devastating to have anything happen here, but no, Herr Robert realizes the writing is on the wall, and despite the fact that the battlefield, that technically is a battlefield with no name, yeah, this was a KAT that felt like it was starting to hit that later on.
Yeah, her Robert did not manage to trade all that well later. That got pretty dicey. I mean, if you look at the kills, nothing really. Except for this three.
Well, and
And
by the difference with that, yes, there are a couple of standouts over here on the 78th strim, but the consequence, I mean, the major consequence is that for the most part, with the exception of like Muller, who's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ground kills, as well as one of those being the Katyusha, they just traded better, or they traded up
yeah,
at least, and that's the important part.
like knocking out the S-35s was pretty big. He had pretty good defensive positions all in all, as her Robert was making those pretty offensive maneuvers early on into central position. But with the 88s and Ashorns, the few Tigers here and there, they managed to get the T-34s and S-35s and Shermans into a killing field, and then kill them all. And then, of course, the whole northern town fight was he just stormed on through.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, and again, I am having such a joy casting these matches. I mean, one thing I'm not sure if we mentioned beforehand, we said it was the finals. So, guys, coming up over here on Thursday will be Game 3 of this matchup between Herr Robert and the Graham Slam. So, I guess the question is, are we going to be, Zeke heiling the fatherland, or we'll be knocking it out of the park? Either way, I'm actually super excited for this, because both these guys know how to put on a hell of a show. But any other thoughts about this here game?
None.
Rang? Okay. Well, in that case then, folks, until next time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.